Look, we're really well positioned, and we're hugely pleased to have secured all of our desired places on new and existing frameworks, totaling 55 frameworks across all of the major water companies. And we've been working with all of these clients for, on average, 17 years each. And this shows the long-term value these relationships can create.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is Chris Hampson, Chief Financial Officer at Galliford Try. Chris, a very good morning. Could you give us an introduction to Galliford Try for those who may not already know you?
Good morning, Stephen. Good to see you again. Yes, let me pull out the salient points. We are a leading UK-wide construction group, and we construct critical economic and social infrastructure. What do I mean by this? I mean schools, prisons, roads, and defence facilities, which is likely to see a boost in investment in the near future. We also build private rental and affordable housing, and by this we mean mid-rise residential blocks, not houses. And finally, we are very well placed in water infrastructure construction in the UK. We feel there is robust long-term demand across all these sectors driven by the ageing of the UK infrastructure. We all know the UK's infrastructure needs to be repaired, improved, and even replaced to cater for the impacts of a growing population, the effects of climate change, and we need to do better on the UK's productivity. And so we are really well placed in our target sectors and frameworks, and we see a great pipeline of opportunity well into the future, with all of our sectors aligned to the government's growth priorities. I feel I should add that one of our key advantages is that more than 90% of our work is for the government or regulated sectors. These clients really like us because we deliver high quality products safely and collaboratively time after time. Further, our strong balance sheet is also very attractive to these clients, to our suppliers, and to our colleagues who can all take confidence in our financial resilience. And finally, we are a people-orientated group with high employee advocacy scores of 87%, and we are number one choice for apprentices and number two for graduates in our sector. Hopefully that gives you a broad flavour of who we are.
Chris, today's results for the first half of 2025 saw another strong upbeat performance and a raising of guidance for the full year. What are the key highlights?
Thanks, Stephen. Yeah, indeed, we are really pleased to have delivered 9 consecutive halves of growth for our stakeholders. In the first half of our financial year, we continued to benefit from strong delivery on our AMP7 environment frameworks, and our teams are now working on the transition to the larger AMP8 programmes. Beyond this, we've seen strength in all our core businesses, with building doing well in the custodial, defence and education sectors, and progress too in the infrastructure division, including, amongst others, the handover of the A303 Sparkford to Ilchester scheme. Specifically, our performance showed a strong year-on-year increase in revenue, adjusted profit before tax, and an improved divisional adjusted operating margin. Revenue was up nearly 13% to over £920 million. Divisional adjusted operating margin is up 24 basis points over year to 2.7%. And this is showing good progress against our 4% target for 2030. This led to a 22% increase in adjusted profit before tax of £20.5 million. And this has allowed us to announce a 38% increase in our interim dividend to 5.5 pence per share. On the balance sheet side, our balance sheet remains really strong, and our average month-end cash for the last 12 months rose to £176 million, up from circa £155 million at our last year end. So this tells us there is good demand-led growth momentum across the business, and that's leading us to announce an upgrade to guidance. And we're pleased to say we anticipate both revenue and adjusted profit before tax for the full year to be above the top end of current market expectations.
Chris, your order books increased to £3.9 billion. In this buoyant market, how are you maintaining your bidding discipline?
Of course, and look, we feel it's great news that our reputation for quality and expertise means we're being offered so much work at the moment. And so during my first 6 months in the business, I've been visiting many of our regional offices and construction projects, and I've seen firsthand how this disciplined culture permeates through our operations. It's really reassuring to see how passionately this discipline and risk management ethos is shared by colleagues at all levels. And our strong balance sheet and order book means that we can be really selective in the work we take on. We will only take on projects where we have a strong track record, the necessary expertise, and where the contracting process involves a negotiated approach. What do I mean by this? Well, this means both sides can fully understand the scheme and negotiate a sensible price for the value delivered. And so I'm pleased to say we have 98% of our work secured for the current year and already north of 80% for next year.
Water presents a substantial opportunity for the group over the next decade, Chris. How well placed is Galliford to benefit from the doubling of investments under AMP8?
Look, we're really well positioned, and we're hugely pleased to have secured all of our desired places on new and existing frameworks, totaling 55 frameworks across all of the major water companies. And we've been working with all of these clients for, on average, 17 years each. And this shows the long-term value these relationships can create. As a result of these collaborative relationships, we won 8 places on AMP8 frameworks for both existing water infrastructure frameworks, and by this we mean mainly above the ground large design and build schemes for assets in water treatment plants, but also for asset management frameworks. And we split these between asset maintenance and replacement and water technologies, including asset optimization and advanced equipment manufacturing. These latter frameworks are for our higher margin specialist service businesses, formed largely through our recent acquisitions. And over time, as we grow these niche water businesses to scale, they will give us a higher blended margin and form an important part of our increased financial targets for 2030.
Chris, your new strategy to 2030 has set out a target of reaching a 4% margin. Why do you believe there's still a lot of growth opportunity ahead for Galliford Try?
Thanks, Stephen. Look, simply put, our strategy has 2 key thrusts. First, our strategy is to continue to grow revenue and increase margin on our 3 core businesses: building, infrastructure, mainly the highways and energy sector, and environment, which is predominantly water and wastewater. These are all big, long-term, non-cyclical markets in the public and regulated sectors with great opportunities for disciplined growth. It is worth highlighting that our successfully negotiated AMP8 frameworks will flow in at higher hurdle rates over the coming years. Secondly, we are focused on growth in our specialist businesses in higher margin adjacent markets, such as the water specialist businesses that I talked about a minute ago. And our plan is to leverage our geographical and client footprint across the UK to sell more of our portfolio of specialist higher margin services to our broad portfolio of clients. And so, based on our ongoing trading results, we believe that sticking to our strategy is working, as we have established a track record of delivering sustainable profit growth and increasing shareholder returns. And total shareholder returns over the last 4 years of circa 250% is further evidence of this. We equally have a strong conviction that with the strong macro factors I've talked about and a clear strategic focus, there is still plenty more growth to look forward to over the coming years. There is really good momentum in the business. We are encouraged by our performance and have increased confidence in the future. Thank you, Stephen.
Chris, thank you very much for your time today. That's Chris Hampson, Chief Financial Officer at Galliford Try.